So the new Rocket League season came out, and like a lot of people, the first thing I wanted to do was try out the new Rocket Pass car. So I load into the game, buy the Rocket Pass, and get myself the car, eager to try it out. I queue into a casual game, and after a couple minutes of playing with it, something felt a little bit off. To see if I was right, I did a quick Google search, and this is when I knew something was wrong. Really wrong. To make sure I was right, I played around with it some more in training, and then it became blatantly obvious. So what was the problem? Well, the Porsche's problem is one that has plagued Rocket League since July 5th, 2017. Before this date, cars in Rocket League each had an individual unique body type, or a hitbox, which gave it unique stats and features, such as being longer or wider, but on the 7th of July, developers changed this so that every car would fit into a set of 6 standardized hitboxes. These include the Octane, Dominus, Plank, Breakout, Hybrid, and the Merc. All cars from this point onwards would fit into one of these 6 standardized hitboxes. So as an example, our Porsche fits into the Dominus hitbox category. But wait, why did they do this? Well, to explain this, we have to go even further back to March 8, 2016. When the first premium battle car was released, and this car was the Batmobile. At this time, the Batmobile was one of the largest cars in the game, being a lot longer and wider than every other car. This bigger surface area gave it a competitive advantage over lots of other cars. This is why during the early seasons of Rocket League, the Batmobile was largely considered one of the best cars in Rocket League and favoured by a lot of pros, and it's in this car that many of the earliest mechanics like the Cuxa pinch were invented. Because this car was so good, developers saw that this car could create a competitive disadvantage for people that don't have it. Unlike the Octane and the Dominus at the time, you could only acquire the Batmobile by paying for it, which created a pay-to-win aspect in Rocket League. Obviously the developers didn't like this, and they decided to standardize hitboxes as a result, which unfortunately had some unintended consequences, and our Porsche showcases this perfectly. As you can see by this diagram, the car doesn't fit its hitbox properly. The hitbox is significantly wider than the actual car and doesn't actually mold to the correct shape of the car. In fact, even the wheels don't align properly. And the upgraded version of the Porsche is even worse. And this forms one piece in what has become a major problem for Rocket League since the hitboxes were standardized in 2017. The majority of the cars that developers had simply don't fit into one of the 6 hitboxes. In particular, cars that are a part of the Rocket Pass tend to be particularly bad at this, resulting in the community simply not using these cars at all. Okay, this is all cool, but why is this so important? Well, a car that doesn't fit into its hitbox not only feels bad to play, but results in worse performance compared to cars that fit their hitbox, such as the Octane and the Fennec. This is because your brain has to guess where the hitbox lies within your car design. And if your car design is not accurate to your actual hitbox, it's harder for your brain to judge where the hitbox is. This is referred to as the missbox, or the area around the hitbox that is a part of your car's body design. And during my casual games, this is exactly what my brain was trying to figure out. This area is the sole reason you will get bad and inaccurate touches on the ball, as well as your car's rotation and movement on both the ground and the air feeling weird and clunky. This is where people get the idea that their car feels heavy or light or long or slim. And this area plays a significant role in a game like Rocket League because it's a physics-based game. It relies on your precision and accuracy with your touches. So something like this is going to give you a major disadvantage when you're playing the game. So you're probably thinking, if standardizing the hitbox didn't work, why don't we just go back to making unique hitboxes? Well, there was a reason they did change this. The first is what we discussed earlier with the Batmobile and the pay-to-win aspect in Rocket League. The second is that there would be a huge amount of work for developers if they had to design a unique hitbox for every single car, and considering there is now over 75 of them, just imagine the amount of work there would be. It's also important to note that we probably wouldn't have as many DLC cars if this decision hadn't been made, because they would be producing cars at a much slower rate. So there are valid reasons as to why they've done this, but unfortunately there have been really bad consequences as a result. So is there any way to fix this? Well, the community has listed lots of different ways, like changing hitboxes back to being unique, and also adding more hitboxes to better cater for more designs. But there is one solution which developers don't like to talk about. All they need to do is to tell their designers to cater their design with hitboxes in mind. If they actually did this, they would give cars the right hitbox. In fact, in our Porsche's case, it fits the Breakout hitbox better, not perfectly, but better than the Dominus. So obviously the current process is to simply make a design and fit the hitbox hitbox to that later. Reversing this and incorporating the hitbox as a part of the design would solve the issue straight away. And I'm sure you guys have lots of other suggestions on how they could possibly fix this, but the important thing is that the developers need to do something, because what they're currently doing isn't working. Because we keep getting cars like the Porsche which don't fit their hitbox, which we might play for a couple of weeks and then it just gets left in our inventory, never to be used again. And this is probably the most tragic part of all of this. This is mouldyshoe. Thanks for watching.